Oh, hello there. Yes, well, it still is, isn't it? Good grief. How much longer, eh? Is spring here? No. Anyway, today I thought we'd think about stoicism and the ability of our elders and betters to, well, just really muck in there and show us how it should be done. I did have to smile at this from Celia Walden yesterday, which is sort of typical of our commentariat, with the cult of victimhood has made children miserable. Yes. I always thought it was when you slapped them and told them to shut up, but apparently it's not that. Thanks to yet another government-funded study, thanks for that, we now know that children cope better with stress when taught that it's part of everyday life. Yes, because according to Celia, nice posh, private school educated Oxbridge child of Tory MP Celia, apparently children aren't being done. That isn't being done with children anymore. Presumably it's once again my fault. So many things in the world that are problematic are ultimately my fault. It's astounding the effect that I've had on the moral infrastructure of the UK. But yes, I mean, nobody's going to disagree with that actually, setbacks are minuses in life. I mean, one of the major things that I have as a special needs teacher is the concept of dealing with those negatives in our lives, dealing with loss, or indeed just dealing with those things that aren't brilliant. Yes. But pardon me if I'm wrong, I have actually heard this story for about the last 40 years about the way that young people are rubbish. And now the young people that I was told were rubbish are now basically the boomers, yeah? And apparently their kids who are now the really stoic ones compared to, well, Gen Z or something. But the thing that got me about this was I was thinking, well, why can't we just apply this kind of, suck it in and live with it attitude to everything about the news? Because effectively this is what our commentariat do, because anything that happens to them is a major, huge issue that simply the government need to do a lot of things about. But anything that happens to you or me or people in the wider world can be simply dismissed as something that isn't need to be tackled at all. So, for example, just the day before, she'd posted this up. I can't think of anything worse than having a toy boy. Bridget Jones can keep her younger man. I would happily pay a large sum not to have one. Well, okay then, Celia, give me $5,000 and you don't have to. There you go, that's sorted, isn't it? But why are you whinging about this? And in terms of, I can't think of anything worse than having a toy boy, I just think you really lack imagination. I mean, I can think of, for example, having my bare genitals held up against an open electric fire and being tortured that way, which I think might actually, on balance, be worse than having a toy boy. I don't know about you. I mean, yes, it doesn't necessarily work if you got so well with internal genitalia, but you get the idea. There are these people that say, oh, there's nothing worse than, and you just always know that you can think of instantaneously half a dozen things that are an awful lot worse. Or indeed that great phrase which is, isn't it ridiculous, which is always going to be preceding a phrase on the basis of, well, I had to queue for 10 minutes at the post office, or there were 3 red lights in a row when I was travelling home. It always smacks me as people that realistically don't very well cope with those minuses in their life. But this also got me right. Okay, this is from the Daily Telegraph again yesterday. We've got James Jeffrey, who likes to write about military matters, and wrote this: Palestinians could do worse, that notion again, than setting up home in Somaliland. Yes, the people of the unrecognised East African country know a thing or two about recovering from the ravages of war. Yes, indeed. There is a reason why they're unrecognised, which I won't go into here, but you can look that up for yourself. But you notice the way that, a whole bunch of people can just suck up and see. Yes, I know you've been bombed out of your homes and ethnically cleansed for 40 years, but look on the bright side. You could go to a patch of desert. It's quite nice, actually. Yeah, are you going to live there, James? Nah, I don't really fancy it. You can read the piece for yourself, but effectively that's what it is. What a brilliant way of dismissing anyone's concerns about things. It's just, you're just not very mentally strong, are you? So I thought, again, we'd apply this to, well, what were the major stories from the Times yesterday? So we start off with, let's just have a look. This is just the basic online edition. Met officers who fail vetting scheme may keep jobs after absurd court rulings. Yeah. But why can't women just accept that, coppers routinely will sexually assault them? Eh? I mean, is that a problem? Shouldn't they be more mentally attuned to the way the world actually is? Maybe they missed out things when they were younger and they just weren't, exposed to enough sexism. How about that one? Or, Dolly Parton musical disrupted by homophobic abuse from the audience. Yeah. Well, surely actors must realise that they're being paid, aren't they? Surely if they're not reacting to what the audience wants in terms of not seeing gay people on stage. I mean, who would ever associate Dolly Parton with gay people? Anyway, I haven't thought that one through, but they should just suck it up, shouldn't they? Not the audience, obviously, because obviously the audience are paying good money, and that's the important libertarian principle at play here. Yes, Louis Ribales claims Jenny Hermoso said okay to World Cup kiss. Yeah, I would refer her to the whole notion of the Met Police. I mean, surely female footballers should be used to by now being treated as just simply sexual objects by the blokes in charge of them, shouldn't they? And indeed, UK and US snub France by refusing to sign AA Summit Declaration. And again, you would have thought that the French would be used to being the butt of everybody's jokes in Europe, because we all know how rubbish they are compared to, well, us here in this country. We're great, aren't we? Yeah, not like those rubbish French with their democracy and booming economy and, the cuisine and the culture and... I haven't really thought that one through either, have I? Still, it's no more unthought out, badly thought out than Celia Walden's is. But I do get bored with these people who will insist that somehow magically they are very much more capable in the world, and yet at the same time don't seem to be realistically be able to deal with the most minor things, be they toy boys or other anything else. And of course, the beauty of this mental view of the world, the sort of Julia Hart-Brewer vision of these things, your kind of Toby Young vision of these things, is simply a way of dismissing actual real problems that are out there because it's just a lack of moral fibre. Yeah, I mean, these Palestinians whinging that they don't want to be starved or ethnically cleansed or bombed. I mean, is it a problem from their childhood? Maybe we should just blame the parents, or in the Palestinians' case, their parents, or in their Palestinians' case, their parents, and were way back for about 3,000 years. Yeah. Don't know what the world's coming to when people won't just accept ethnic cleansing or indeed, notions of being wiped out. Yeah. Anyway, do have a... God, I'm in a facetious mood today. Anyway, do have a lovely rest of the day. Do stay as warm as you can do. By God, it's horrible. I am bored with it being cold by now. Jesus.